Welcome, everyone. This is Three Things I've Learned with me, Susan Dolci, where we share the stories that shift our souls. This is a show where we share true breakthrough stories from some really inspiring people, and it's my hope that you gain a new perspective from their personal experiences. Mostly because it's just really important to me that you know that you're not alone. So many of us experience the same heartbreaks and the same setbacks and frustrations. And let's face it, we all have three things we've learned about something, about love, about life, about luck. And that's the beauty in sharing our stories. So today, before I introduce my guest, I'd like to share a little bit about one of the most, I guess I would call it probably number two on the transformational story scale for me. And this, it was about over 30 years ago. Gosh, it was like 35. Actually, if I do the math, it's 36 years ago. And I was in a troubled marriage. I know I don't look that old to be, that it would be that long ago. Teasing. Anyway, it was about 36 years ago. I was in a troubled marriage. I was far too young to be married. I can say that now. I was barely 21, but I was in love, and so I just went in face first, dove into the deep end of the pool. And not only did I not have communication skills um, to ask for what I wanted, to communicate what I was feeling, I didn't even have a healthy relationship in my life to model. Um, if you think about it, the one relationship that we're exposed to day in and day out is our parents, right? And back then, when I was growing up, so this was like in the 70s and 80s, because when I got married, it was 1984. Um, my mom, she had no communication skills whatsoever. I think back then it was if you needed something and you didn't know how to ask for it, you cried. And my dad, equally bad at expressing his feelings. And so, even though he was very affectionate with my mom, uh, he didn't know how to ask for what he needed either. And he would then proceed to numb his feelings with alcohol. And he would turn into a pretty mean drunk. And that sweet, affectionate husband turned into someone who was name calling and just humiliating her. And so that was my model. I just really didn't have a lot to go on. And but all of my friends, their parents, a lot of my friends' parents were divorced. I didn't have another relationship in my life where I could say, okay, I think that's what a healthy marriage is supposed to look like. So today we are talking about getting the love you want, the key to creating healthy, fulfilling relationships. And my guest today has an inspiring story of how she was able to release herself from an unfulfilling marriage and years of codependence into a journey of self love. Risa Gaull is a self love and relationship coach and the creator of the program Be True to You, Getting the Love You Want. She is also a mind body wellness expert, has taught, I hope I get this right, Risa, Qigong for over 20 years, and offers remote energy healing with intuitive readings. She uses these modalities along with transformational life coaching to help her clients break free from self judgment, old patterns, and limiting beliefs. Please help me welcome Risa to the show.
Thank you so
Hi.
much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here to share.
I'm so happy to have you here today. So, because I know you've got an amazing story to share, and getting the love you want, like we all want an awesome relationship, but most of us don't have any idea how we're supposed to get there, right?
hmm Yeah, I don't feel like it's an amazing story. I feel like I feel like I'm pretty common. Like I feel like I went through a hard time, but everybody has their hard times that they go through. My story I didn't have like a really traumatic childhood or anything like that. I feel like I had a pretty kind of, quote unquote normal family, normal parents. But we pick up these ideas somehow, somewhere, and it doesn't really matter where they came from, I guess. But like I just kind of grew up with the belief that like I don't matter. What I have to say isn't important. I'm not. I just kind of always felt less than, like not good enough, and I just felt like that was really my whole life. I just remember for like decades just really struggling. Like I remember being in college and feeling like why can't I just like myself,
Yeah, I think it's a it's just such a recurring theme for women,
Mm,
and I know I'm sure it is for men, but I can only speak from my own personal experience. And, every person I've interviewed on the show, we seem to have that same, "Oh my gosh, how come I just don't feel worthy of love or anything," right?
yeah, yeah, it's that feeling of unworthiness. We pick up these ideas and these beliefs, and so it literally took me decades to kind of unwind and get free, to break free from that. So like that's my passion now, is to share the tools that I have, that I use for myself, which, because it's an ongoing journey. Self love is a constant. Our relationship with ourself is ongoing, just like it is with anybody else. But I feel like I am able now to have the perspective that I need, and then I can share with other women to really come into right relationship with yourself. And so yeah, so what ended up happening was I married a very nice man, who was sober when I met him, but about 7 years into the marriage relapsed into alcoholism and depression.
Mm.
And I stayed with him for 7 years, since the time that he relapsed. And it was through that time that I went to a ton of Al-Anon meetings, and I did not realize how much my sense of identity, my sense of well-being, my sense of security was just wrapped up into this other person who was now just really not doing well. And like just everything, it was kind of imploding. And
Did
so yeah.
did you I mean, I was just curious because did you ever have a feeling like, did you ever feel that his relapse had anything to do with you? Like, did you internalize that? Like, did I bring this on? Are these his demons? Like, what part do I play in all of this?
Oh, that's such an excellent question, Susan, because the natural inclination, I think, is for us to blame ourselves. Like, okay, well, and I hear that from a lot of women too, not necessarily in, situations where there's substance abuse going on, but just, well, why is he not, showing me the attention I want, or whatever it is? It's like, what am I doing wrong? Why, like,
Mhm.
even just situations where the man might be looking outside the marriage, and the woman is, of course, it's like, oh well, what's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? But I learned in
Mhm.
Al-Anon the three C's. We can't control it. We didn't cause it. We can't control it. And I forget what the other one is. We can't change it, I guess.
Mm.
So it's yeah, so I think I did initially, that was the tendency, was to like be like, oh gosh, like how did I contribute to this? And maybe I did have some contributing factor. But when someone is struggling with alcohol addiction, it's about them. It's really about them,
Mhm.
and it's not about me. So yeah, fortunately, from my training and Al-Anon and the support I got there, I did not go down that road too heavily, of blaming myself for it. But I did have to keep reminding myself, because they'll kind of point fingers at you too, and they'll make you think, oh, it's your fault, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I just remember, w this memory is so vivid in my mind. Um, I was so desperate for my ex-husband to just acknowledge my existence
Mhm.
that I was literally at his feet. He was sitting in, like, an office chair, and I was on the floor at his feet saying, "Please just tell me you love me. Like, tell me what I need to do to fix this. Like, what am I doing wrong?" Like, and it just so desperate just just for any nugget of something to make me feel like I existed or like I was worthy. So I just think it's like, it's so easy in those situations to think that this I must have done something because clearly I'm unworthy to begin with. So I
Mm.
must have done something. Again, this is my dad talking. I must have done something to deserve this.
Yeah. So, I look back on that time now, and I'm really, really grateful for all the lessons that I learned, because it really brought me back to myself. It brought me back to my journey, to myself. And I imagine you have had a similar, awakening as a result of that. So, like, that's the good news. It's like whatever's going on, it definitely helps us point back in the right direction. So that's a lot of the work that I do now with women too, is just, um, you know, how do you get back into a right relationship with yourself? Because that has to come first. Yeah,
Yeah. So,
for healthy relationship. Yeah.
so you were participating in Al-Anon and you realize I can't change it. I can't control it. I didn't
Didn't
create
cause
it or
it,
cause it.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, gee, gosh, it was just such a painful time because, I did love him, but it was a lot of like, it was just very codependent, both ways. It was just very codependent relationship. And so, um, so it just really showed me very clearly, like when you are depending on someone else to, for your well-being, your sense of well-being, um, it's just, yeah, like that's just a really risky place to, you know,
Yeah. Yeah,
it's put
absolutely.
yourself, like it's just, yeah, I just did that for day after day. I used to work in a school, and a little Montessori school,
Mm.
when my son was younger. He's 19 now, but when he was younger, and I would have to greet the kids in the morning, and I would stand there, and I would just be like wanting to cry, just because of everything that was
Mm.
going on at home. And I would just like have to stand there and smile. And I just remember having to stand there and smile when all I really wanted to do was just cry. But one of the things that they taught me, and this was huge in Al-Anon, was, you know what, you gotta focus on yourself. Like that was sort of where the whole idea came, started, to come around, was, you can't change him. You can't, we don't have like this, like step one, admitted we were powerless over, basically it's like anything outside ourselves. But,
Mhm.
or we admitted we don't have the power to control anybody else or anything else. And so then what do? It's like, all right, well, they kept telling me, you gotta focus on yourself.
Yep.
Focus on yourself. So I just remember, one day I was standing at the school, and standing there, and just wanting to cry, and I just kept hearing those words, like, okay, just focus on yourself. Anytime I would just start my mind would start to think about him, and I would start to feel myself getting upset. I just used it like a mantra, one day, all day long, like
Mm.
thousands of times. I could just, in the back of my mind, okay, focus on yourself, focus on yourself, focus on yourself. And it was just like this, restructuring my neural pathways in my brain. I felt like it was like mental rock climbing. Like, I just really had to sort of like almost, um, just grab onto this thought and pull myself up on it, and grab onto this
Mhm.
slogan that, they had a lot of really good slogans, and pull myself up on it. And there were days where, I don't know where I would have been without the support of that group. Um,
Mhm.
with just everything that was going on, and I was so dependent and so focused on him that, my world just became very dark and cloudy. And it wasn't good. And I just remember it like being springtime also, and I love the spring. That's my favorite season, and the flowers were blooming and everything was good, and I just couldn't even enjoy it. I just felt like there was this huge dark cloud over my life. And then I remember as I was after I had ended the marriage and was healing, I was on my own journey of self discovery and recovery from that situation. Um, Spring coming around again and feeling like, yeah,
Yeah.
and it was sort of a gradual process of like reclaiming the joy in my life. And
Mhm.
that's kind of another topic about like how, and actually that comes up a lot in the situation with the women in the work that I do is, I'm so focused on him, I don't even know what I like anymore. Like I don't even know like what would make me happy. Like I'm just focused on him and taking care of whatever he needs or the family or as women. And so that's focus on yourself. Well, where am I don't like I completely lost myself in that relationship.
Yeah.
I didn't even know who I was anymore. So yeah,
So
it's a journey.
let's, I'm going to interrupt you
Yes.
briefly because I think this is a good place to take a break,
Mhm.
because this is a great segue into how you finally figured out, like, what did you do to take care of yourself? How did you come back from that? I love that mountain climbing example. That was awesome. And so we'll talk about those, the keys, right? And the tips and the tricks and what we can do to get the self-love and the self-care we need, right?
It's great.
You've been listening to Three Things I've Learned with Susan Dolci. We will be right back. Hello, we are back on. This is Three Things I've Learned with me, Susan Dolci, and my guest today is relationship coach Risa Gaull Brophy. We've been talking about getting the love we want. Boy, don't we all want good love, right? Before we continue, Risa, can you share with our listeners where they can find you and work with you?
Sure. You can check my website. It's called Full Circle Wellness CT for Connecticut, fullcirclewellnessct.com.
And Risa is being very, very generous. She's offering a free complimentary 30-minute relationship revamp strategy session. These are limited, so you're going to need to get on that link. It's a $197 value, and the link that'll take you right to that form is on the show description on transformationtalkradio.com. We will say that again later because it's a great offer. So before we went to break, we were talking about um, self-care and self-love and putting yourself first, right?
Mhm. Right. And so I talk to people about, well, in the program, I actually created a program called Be True to You, Getting the Love You Want. And so that's, if people want to check my website, they can learn more about, there's 4 pillars for a healthy relationship. But the first pillar I call, I am the love that I need.
Mm,
And so, and that's probably like, that's the biggest mistake that I have made, that I think everybody makes, is that we're just looking for other people to make us feel okay about ourselves, and to make us feel happy or secure or whatever it is. It's just, that's the biggest mistake, is that we're just looking for sources outside of ourselves for that love that we need. And when really and it's so beautiful when you can finally feel it, but really what we crave is just to be in alignment with our truth, with ourself, with our source. And so it's really our own love that we need, and no one else, even if they are behaving in a way that like exactly that we want them to, and all the conditions outside of ourselves are just like satisfying. It's only kind of like to a certain level. It's almost kind of surface. But really at our core, what we crave is just to love who we are, or to love ourselves. And that actually is our natural state, just like a little child. And so a lot of the work that I do too, I think you mentioned in the beginning the qigong. If people are familiar with qigong, means energy work. It's actually ancient Chinese healing exercises to calm your mind and work with your qi, your energy in your body. But I do it in a way that just really helps you connect with your truth and yourself, because we're in our head, we're so much in our head, and we're identified with like the story, those limiting beliefs that we picked up. And so I think that's kind of like one of the main strategies is just to like get out of your head. And I have a lot of tools for like how do you break free from self-judgment, and I'm certified as a transformational life coach, so a lot of the tools that we learned in there I use with my clients too. But so I guess just understanding that other people are never going to be able to fill that void for us.
The so it's almost like I always crack up when I hear people talk about I shouldn't say crack up. I always ponder when people talk about soulmates
Mhm.
because in my opinion, I'm my ideal soulmate, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
because I like you said, we're looking for people to fill up that hole, to um, be that other part of us that we think that we don't have, that other facet of us, and to complete that phrase, he
Mhm.
completes me.
Mhm.
Like it's you are complete in and of yourself, right? Right?
Exactly.
And the amazing thing is that when and I'm sure you can attest to this with the work you've done, that when you do love yourself and you are your soulmate and you are um, uh, taking care of yourself and you are your own best friend, then it seems like you attract the right person for you, not the person who's going to fill the hole, but the person who really is going to complement you and lift you and support you.
Yeah, it's absolutely. I mean, that's a really good point. It's law of attraction, where we attract from whatever we are, we attract, from that level of who we are. So yeah, if we're still needy, if we're kind of codependent, we're going to attract that similar energy. It's just energy, like I
Mhm.
get that from my Chinese medicine background too, my energetic medicine, energy healing work too, is just, yeah, everything's energy. And so wherever we're vibrating, that's how we attract. So if you want someone who is whole and complete, then you got to focus on feeling that way in yourself first.
Mhm. Yeah, that's just always it. And the thing is, you can't, it's very hard to explain that to somebody. It's almost like you have to be on the other side of it.
Yeah.
You have to have experienced it. And I've told clients that before too. It's like, you're just going to have to trust me that if you take this time and you learn to, love yourself and increase the self-care and all that, you
Mhm.
will be surprised at the people you attract into your life. I'm really curious. I know maybe I'm going off script a little bit, but when you're talking about the whole, because I really am new to the whole qigong
Mhm.
energy work. Um, uh, how does that? I mean, we talked a little bit about it just now, but how does that work in love relationships? I mean, are there blockages, and then you get that, like, help me. Teach
Yeah,
me.
I think it's kind of what we were just talking about, is that we're energy beings, and
Right.
so it's you as a person. You're whatever you're, however you're being is the energy that you're putting out. And so the qigong is just one of the tools on how to get in alignment with ourselves, and that beautiful pure source energy that's within us, and to really break out of the stories that are in our mind. And of course, there's a lot of other tools involved in that too. But yeah, so it's just yeah, we're changing our thoughts, changing our beliefs, changing our energy pattern. It's like we're changing. Really, we're changing our thought patterns, and
Mm,
we're changing our emotional state. And so we're changing the energy. We're changing our whole energy, physically, mentally, emotionally, like all the levels that we're functioning on. So yeah, we just become more of who we are. We shed all that stuff that isn't true, and we can just open ourselves to exploring and loving the truth of who we are. It's like you said, we are already whole and complete. We just need to kind of be open to owning our responsibility, um, I know like a lot of people probably like, maybe that doesn't sound good when I say, oh, well, you attract, you attract where you
Yeah.
are. Like, oh no, that is not who I am.
Boy, ain't
When
that the truth, yeah.
but you know what? That's the thing. It's like
Mm.
that's sort of part of that first key is like we need to accept responsibility that we are the creative power in our lives. We really do have 100% responsibility, and it took me a while to accept that too. I remember going to a personal growth workshop like in my 20s, and they were like, "You are 100% responsible for your reality." I was like, really? That's a new concept. Doesn't feel like it. Like, we don't feel like we have control like our minds, but
Right. Yeah.
that's some of the work too, is learning that we do have control, and really coming into our own power to choose and to work with those patterns that are coming up. It's okay. I mean, there's all parts of ourselves, like even the parts that we don't like, we learn how to embrace all those parts.
So when you're working with clients, how I know it's really hard. I know I've come up against this just myself in real life, real time. Um, Asking for what you want and what you need
Mhm.
without without I've got Leonard Jacobson in my head right now, without attraction, without attachment to the outcome. No, but asking for what you want and what you need without fear.
Yes, perfect. Yeah, so that's, one of the other pillars of the healthy relationship is constructive communication, because I think that's like we're just not taught. Like, so many different people I've talked to, and even just like other, colleagues, therapists who they're like, yeah, nobody teaches this stuff. So I'm happy to share with you some tools if you want some concrete things that you
Would
can use
love
for
that.
constructive communication. And so, before I'm going to give you some actual words that you can say, a framework for constructive communication. But I guess, just a little bit of background about just understanding, well, why is it so hard? And cutting ourselves a little bit of a break.
For
Because
sure.
why is the communication such a problem? Well, there's of course there's differences in the way that men and women operate. If you've read, like, men are from
Mhm.
Mars, women are from Venus. Like the men, they are very oriented toward just fixing it. Like they don't, they just want to, solve the problem. They just want to fix it. Well, most of the time, women, like, I just want you to hear me. I just want to be
Mhm.
seen, and I just want to be heard. I don't want you to try and fix it. So, like, there's that kind of stuff that's going on. And then, a lot of us, myself included, I know this is huge, is just like when we're looking for other people's love and approval, we don't want to get into conflict.
Mhm.
Like I still don't like it, but like at least I've gotten better with just being able to, as I say what you mean what you say, but don't say it mean.
I don't think I've ever heard that one. That's
One,
great.
I think I got that one from Al-Anon. But so just cutting ourselves a break, just recognizing that that just goes along with the territory of like the whole people pleasing thing. When we're needing that, it's like the conflict. It's so uncomfortable. So, but if we can just I'm going to give you a framework to use, because that's the other thing, is like people like us then would say, like, I just don't know what words to use, I don't know what to say, so I'm going to give you some words. But just know that, like, if you can just kind of push through that initial discomfort that will come up. And this is another thing that I work with the women in my program, is addressing all those feelings of discomfort that come up and kind of diffusing that, so
Mhm.
it's not so charged. Then it gets easier, and it does get easier with practice too. But so say your partner has done something that has bothered you, that has hurt your feelings, that has made you angry. And so I know, like, I just like what I would just not say anything. I would just stuff it, and I would walk away and feel hurt. But occasionally, I just couldn't let it go. It's like, all right, I have to, like, your inner being will not let you
Yep.
just, it's not okay. It's like, it's got to be addressed. So hopefully we don't have to wait till it gets to that point where it's bad enough. But anyway, so what I might do is, if I was really angry, I might actually. actually, this is important too. Before you have this conversation, is just, you gotta pick the right time, and you want to come with a little bit more of a neutral energy so that you're not
Mm,
creating a defensive reaction from your partner. So if I'm really pissed off, I probably, like, it might be better to like walk away, go for a walk, whatever you need to do, process the feeling a little bit, get some of the steam off. And then when you're calm, you want to be able to approach it from a neutral energy. And then it's also finding the right time too. So, you don't want to approach them if they're tired or hungry or they're angry, so you want to have the energy be a receptive time. And so there's an acronym for that too, the word HALT.
mhm.
If you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, it's not a good time to try and have a conversation with somebody, or if they're feeling that way.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, say you've calmed down a little bit, you've had a chance to process, you've picked the right time to have the conversation with them, and now I'll give you the words. Okay. So, you can open the conversation however you want, but like, can I just say, like, there's something that's been bothering me. Is it okay? Can we just talk about it for a minute? And so the words are, when you fill in the blank, when you did this one specific thing, and you're not going to generalize and say, you always do all of this, because then that
Mhm.
brings up a whole can of worms. So it's like, when you said this specific thing, or you did this specific thing, very neutral energy. I felt, fill in the blank. So
Mhm.
and then it's and I'll give you an example in a minute, but then and I would like it if you would fill in the blank again, do it this way. And would you be able to do that, or willing to do that? So, for example, say I'm in a conversation with my partner, and he is starting to just get angry and raising his voice at me. And I didn't come from a family where that was, we didn't raise voices. Maybe that's what you're used to. Maybe that's okay with you. But for me, it's not okay. And so, if I'm in a conversation, I'm just using this sentence as an example, but, say someone's, raising their voice to you, and you can just say, and it's hurting your feelings. It's hurting your feelings, right? So when you raised your voice to me, I felt hurt. And I would like it if, when we talk, we can keep our volume of our voice at a certain level. Would you be able to do that, or would you be willing to do that? And then you can see what he says, and take the conversation from there. Maybe he's not able to do that, but
Mhm.
just see what he says. But this is empowering way for you to just express how you feel. And I don't, maybe some of you guys are familiar with that framework, but it's, when you did this specific thing, we're using I. It's really about the I statements, not
Mhm.
you made me feel. No, he didn't make you feel anything. You are in charge of how you feel. When you said this, I felt. I statements. So, and it's fact. It's not like, you can't argue with how I feel. So then there's no arguing back and forth. Oh,
Mm,
no, I didn't, it's just a fact. When you
mm.
said this, I felt this way. You can't argue with that, right? And
Yeah,
I,
this
I
is
would, I would like it if you would do it this way. Can you do that?
and it's so simple,
Yeah.
but and so you're absolutely right about the practicing, practice, because
Mm.
when it's easy, when it's you're I've rehearsed things in front of the mirror a lot when I had difficult conversations, just so I felt more comfortable saying it.
Mhm.
We're going to take a break. I know you want to do a 5-minute meditation with us, which I'm really looking forward to. So we're going to take a little break. You're listening to Three Things I've Learned with Susan Dolci. And we come back, we are going to have a quick meditation session with Risa. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm Susan Dolci, and you are listening to Three Things I've Learned. Ahem, ahem. Today I'm speaking with relationship expert Risa Gaull, and we are talking about getting the love you want and healthy communication in relationships. And we're going to go into a meditation, but before we do that, Risa has an amazing offer, and the link to that offer is on the description to the show on Transformation Talk Radio. She is offering a 30-minute complimentary relationship revamp strategy session. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so this is just a private 30-minute call, and I do only have a limited number of these that I offer, but I wanted to offer this for your listeners today. And it's to help you, together we're going to work on really crystallizing your vision of the kind of happy relationship that you want, getting really clear. We've learned a lot about what we don't want, but at the same time we actually have learned a lot about what we do want. So we're going to get really clear on that vision, and then uncover the challenges that are going on. You might already have like a pretty good idea of like what you think they are, but a lot of times there's like hidden beliefs at work. So we're going to uncover the challenges, the hidden beliefs that are kind of sabotaging the relationship. And then, by the end of our time, you will know exactly what steps you need to take next to move ahead in your relationship, whether you want to try to improve it or you're considering leaving it. So you just have a clear idea of like what are the next things that you need to focus on to move ahead in your relationship and in your life.
Well, it's a very generous offer, so thank you for doing
Mm.
that. So, meditation, you have a meditation for us.
Yeah. So, we're talking about self love and communication skills. And I know, like, the self love thing, it can be, it can be elusive. And so, I'm going to give you guys an experience.
Mm,
Words don't actually teach, but experiences teach. So I'm going to just invite you, hopefully, unless you're driving a car, then you might want to listen to this later. But if you want to just get comfortable in your chair, we'll take about 5 minutes. I'm going to talk you through an experience where you can really connect with that whole beautiful place within you where you already are completely in love with yourself. So get comfortable in your chair. And you can close your eyes if you like and just take a few nice breaths. Just breathe and release. Feel your body being fully supported in the chair. As you breathe and relax, just coming back into your body, noticing how you feel. Feel your feet on the floor. Just feel yourself being fully supported by the chair, fully supported by the earth, and fully supported by me right now in this time that we have together. Then I'm just going to invite you to put your hands right on your heart. Put your hands on your heart as you breathe and relax. And let's just allow ourselves to let go of the day, let go of the morning so far, not thinking about anything that already happened or anything else that's going to happen later. Just being right here, right now. Give yourself a little love. It's a universal mudra for self love. Just putting your hands on your heart automatically calms you down, helps you give yourself a little nourishment, little healing, little love. So now I'm gonna invite you to just breathe into your heart, as if you could breathe right in through the backs of your hands. Just feel into your heart space, breathing right into your heart, breathing in peace and calm. Just releasing on the out breath. Just feel into your beautiful heart. Breathing in your place of peace and truth. Just focusing your attention on your heart space as you breathe into your heart and relax. Just more and more relaxed with each breath, tuning into your beautiful heart. Maybe you want to just breathe in some love as you inhale into your heart. Breathe in some love. Give yourself a little love, a little appreciation. And maybe you want to just tell yourself, just remind yourself, tell yourself, I love myself. I love myself. And, just bypassing any conditioned patterns of thinking, just knowing that is your natural state. We automatically do, just like a little child. We do love ourselves. It's who we are. So just breathing into your heart. Just tell yourself, I love myself. and just feel your own self-love. Just drink in that nourishment. Now we're going to imagine swallowing that energy down as we let our hands slide down the front of our body to our lower stomach. In Chinese, is called your dantian, your center, it's your main energy center, just below the belly button. And so just drink that energy down as if it were a warm drink of liquid sunshine, warm, healing, self love energy, letting it settle in your belly. And just drink that nourishment in. Just feeling your calm center, your feet on the floor, your feet on the earth. Maybe have now one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Just feeling the connection between your heart and your center, your physical center. Mm. And then we're going to gently bring our attention back, and you can let your hands slide down once again. Just let your hands rest on your belly as you breathe and relax, and just appreciate this beautiful time you've given yourself today to calm your mind, connect with your true spirit, to connect with your heart, the truth of who you are. Love and appreciate yourself. And when you're ready, you can just gently bring your attention back. Really. So anytime you want to feel more calm, it's very simple. They've done studies just by putting your hands on your heart, it automatically calms you down, stimulates the flow of oxytocin in your body, your happy hormones. There's actually a major acupressure point right in the center of the chest called your Sea of Tranquility. And so just by putting your hands automatically calms you down. But, it gets us out of our head. And how was that for you, Susan? Were you able to kind of get out of your head and just kind of feel that into that peaceful heart space?
Yeah, what always it never ceases to amaze me because I could do a meditation, my hands in my lap, but when I do put my hand on my heart or hand on heart and belly, there is something. There's like, oh, I feel myself, like feeling my heartbeat. If I'm in the middle of anxiety or sort of just the mind sort of cycling out of control, doing that, putting my hand on my heart and saying, okay, I'm here now. I'm okay. In this moment, I'm fine. I is so calming, so
Mm.
calming.
Yeah, like that's the problem is like we just, we get too much in our head and the mind just gets racing into maybe all kinds of like not so good feeling directions.
Mhm.
And so that's one of the best things we can do is just integrate. Is what we do when we do our qigong. We're actually just integrating our spirit, mind, body, just bringing everything into its right alignment. And so we're just not in our head spinning out in different directions and maybe getting into like negative trains of thought, because it does build momentum too. That's why it can be hard sometimes, but that's the one little quick, powerful thing you can do for yourself anytime. Just put your hands on your heart and breathe. And, just sometimes it takes a little practice too to just put your attention into that space, like behind where your hands are, into your heart space. If you can tune into your heart energy, that's universal energy. That's source
Mhm.
energy. That's love. You are love. That's who you are. And so
Yeah,
that's how we tune into it and feel it and be it and feel our wholeness. It's the truth of who you are.
yeah. It's so easy to get stuck in that spin cycle in our heads and forget that we are, you know,
Yeah.
a being that is pure and innocent and worthy, right? Of all the things, worthy, right?
That's why I do
Yeah.
transformational life coaching, because we need tools. We need tools on how to work with the mind and the thoughts. And that's one of the beautiful things about relationship too. It's just like it's a mirror. It's just everything's just a mirror.
Yeah. Every relationship comes with a lesson. Yep. Yep.
We learn.
So can you
Yeah.
tell us again where people can find you?
Absolutely. So you can go to my website, which is Full Circle Wellness CT for Connecticut.com, fullcirclewellnessct.com. And you can learn more about the Be True to You program, Be True to You, getting the love you want. If you go on there's actually a direct link to in the description for the free gift, which I'm offering you guys a limited number of private 30-minute relationship revamp strategy sessions, which will just help you get clear on what your vision is of what you want in your life, uncover any hidden challenges, obstacles, hidden beliefs that are kind of undermining things for you, and then get really clear on what your next steps are that you need to do in order to move ahead in your relationship and in your life. And I do have a limited number. So if you want one of those, I would suggest you click on that as soon as possible
Snag that up. Yep.
and
Yep.
get your request in.
So, Risa, this is what I say at the end for it's the name of the show is Three Things I've Learned. What are the three things you've learned about love and relationships?
Yeah. So I think the first thing is just like it's never about them. It's always about me. And I like that Native American saying, whenever you're pointing a finger at someone, there's always three of or four of them pointing back at you. So yeah, so
Yeah.
it's never about them. It's always about me and what's going on with me, and owning um yeah, just owning my own
Yeah.
responsibility for my life.
Thank
And
you. Oh,
yeah,
I'm sorry. I wasn't sure. I was just going to say we're getting to the top of the hour.
okay.
But thank you so much. I didn't mean to cut you off, but
Yeah,
I just really appreciate you being here. You have so much to offer, and I've worked with Risa. Risa and I went through the similar transformational coaching program, so I know I can speak from experience that if you work with her, you're going to have an awesome, awesome teacher, coach. So thank you, Risa. I really appreciate you being here today.
thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thanks. Thanks for listening to Three Things I've Learned with Susan Dolci. For more information on how to mentor with me, you can go to my website at susandolci.com, where you can sign up for a free 30-minute clarity call. And there's also an opportunity to sign up for my newsletter, which goes out every 2 weeks. And it's usually featuring the guests I'm going to have on the show. So that's some extra content. We all have a story. We can live in the story or we can transform the story. It's your choice. Change your story, change our world. Hashtag Storyfield. Thanks for listening, everybody.